All right, I'd like to show a little bit about how I do brand work with AI. I would say that I'm a person who has taste, but I haven't practiced as a graphic designer. I've been around software and e-com brands and the whole space for a long time. I'm personally interested in it, but I wouldn't necessarily give myself the title designer, even though I would say I do design. Okay, so with that caveat aside, here is generally how I approach design work with AI. I'm using Claude, Fable 5. You could use any other model. I don't really think the approach is affected by the model. I think they're all probably equally as bad. and so you have to work with the models. So what I do is I create a sketchbook and I start exploring. And so actually first I start and collect reference imagery and I kind of get a sense of the brand feel. So this, I'm working on the Workroom brand, and I've collected all kinds of different imagery, trying to capture the warmth of the human experience, but also kind of marrying it with this notion of tools and the technical. And so I went on Pinterest, which is great for giving you 1,000 images of the same thing, but slightly different. So I've just been out there kind of taste making, collecting things that I like, stashing them on boards, and organizing them. So I've been collecting that, and I can just quickly go through a couple of these. Oops, wrong direction. Yeah, so we've got some different gradients we've picked. We've got some selections of art. I like the textures of those. We've got lots of pictures of spaces. Because that's where humans work. These are the workrooms that they go in. So I'm really trying to figure out, like, what's the essence of this? What's the feel of this? And then patterns and textures. Again, kind of looking through different patterns and textures that I like, that have the right feel. And then there's just a whole bunch of stuff I've just not categorized, but I've just put in the main board yet. So just feeling it out, things I like. There's different reasons why I like them. So anyway, I collect all of these, and you spend several hours doing that, just trying to get a feel for what the voice is, what the color palette looks like. Are you sticking to a particular genre, or are you kind of finding your own way? Then what I'll do is I'll whip up in this case, it's a View app. Something fast. Agents are great at it. And then I just begin to start exploring. So I started exploring some lines. I don't really care. I'm not building a brand here. I'm not trying to define things. I'm not trying to do a 3-step and then it's completed kind of workflow. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just feel the space, play with the media a little bit. What does it feel like to have checks? What does it feel like? And sometimes the model will throw in these like different little sliders, and I'll just kind of play around with them. Do I like it? Not. I don't know. I'll just look at it and I'll play with it. I'm not committing to anything at this point. I'm not telling Claude or the model to make any kind of commitments for a spec. I'm playing. And I'll just kind of keep going. Here's some reference image. I said copy it, and then let me noodle around so that I actually can understand what makes this work. What is it? What are the layers? What are the colors? What are the different pieces of it? And I just keep going, and I just work through. In this case, I explored like 22 ideas. Some clay, starting to play with some colors. I got inspired by stone earthenware, and I just started noodling. And then it gave me some stuff. I don't really care. This is very vibe codey. I don't really care what it's doing here. trying to get the feel of it, play with what it is. If I want to refine it, I'll do a little refinement, but otherwise I just kind of take it, think about it, move on. And then, after a large group of explorations, where's the typography one? So I just said, hey, give me Tailwind here, all the major sizes on Tailwind, show me the type. I just want to see it. I can adjust the weights. Okay, just feeling it out. It's a lot about instinct at this point. Sometimes I'll get it to do a reference piece of I know that I'm probably going to try to do something a little bit Swiss stylish, a little Bauhausy, but I'm not sure exactly. So I just said, give me the stereotypical Bauhaus Swiss grid. And then I just keep playing. Tried to do I have an idea for a visualization. I just asked for a subway map. They made something. I don't really like it, but at least I have a visual reference to it, and it's all interactive. Blue pen was a fun exploration. There's this notion of a blue pen from animation where you draw it out, draw your character with a blue pen or blue pencil, and then you ink over top of it, and then the blue actually just disappears in the photography process. They don't actually have to erase it, which is kind of cool. And it gave me a photocopy button. Nice, I guess. It's very literal, so you're constantly dealing with that. And then I started noodling. Okay, I actually after I had a feel, I started making specific requests as I started working through. Okay, so then I had a layout, and then I had a bunch of geometric fillers, and took those and explored. I didn't tell Claude to make any of these in particular. I just said, give me a bunch of fillers, and it just cooked up a bunch, and they're fine. Click a button. Oh, cool. Yeah. Again, still kind of in the feel it out pace. And you can see I worked through a whole bunch of other things, but then you can start seeing me narrowing in on something. I started out with this cream background. I was like, hey, so how does that work exactly? Okay. I think it's a little too dark. It's a little too opinionated. It's going to be too much on a genre and not light enough. So then I said, let's work our way down. And I went to 20. Okay, that's starting to feel a little bit more modern. Down to 10. Okay, now we're talking. Just working your way down. Noodle around with some motion. It's fine. It's just what everybody else. It's so common, so stereotypical in some ways. I took a little bit of a Zed piece of reference material from Zed. The Zed website is beautiful. I was like, what would it look like for us to use some of those textures? And I was like, put it in. I don't really like any of this stuff. It's fine, but it's not ideal. And so I just keep on exploring. And when I'm going to start committing to things here, and I'm going to start building the design system, but I just keep sketching. Basically, I just treat the AI as a paintbrush, and it can and so instead of historically where if I was working with a colleague, there'd be this long construction process for each of the explorations, and then we'd look at it, and then we'd decide what the next iteration is and so forth. I don't need to do that. I can just get Claude to make things, and I'm being really specific here. I'm telling Claude make it these things, these shapes. I'm not talking about brand feel or anything like that. It's very operational. The brand feel is something that I the driver, am managing. And I think this is how you get away from those designs that look like they just got smushed out of an averaging model of the average brands, the average of all brands of a particular genre in a particular stereotype. So anyway, hope this is helpful to somebody. Computers can write code. The models can write code really fast. So make code that you throw away to explore ideas.